Hi everyone, Scrappy Cat here with my Scrap Backwards weekly post and video. And I will tell you what I have done with my Scrap Backwards kit is, it started out with all previous kits from Mind the Scrap, but not including the July kit, which I had just gotten, or which was relatively new and untouched. And it also didn't include the June kit, which I had picked up in Bristol in person and then left behind in England, and it got shipped and it went around the world with my suitcase before it got here. So it got here, I actually made a pretty good dent in the newer kit and in the July kit and in the June kit. So I have rolled them in to my Scrap Backwards kit along with all the previous kits. And I've also included a few things that I picked up, a couple paper pads that I picked up at the Mind the Scrap, at the Dotty About Flair crop. There is Heidi Swap Sun Chaser 6x8 and also Simple Stories Let's Get Crafty 6x8. And I've included all the purple goodies that my good friend Gwen Towell brought to the crop, and then a few other little embellishment packs and things like that that I had that had been in Dotty About Flair shipments that had not, the box had not been sent yet, so I brought that back with me, or I should say it came back with my luggage. So there's a lot of miscellaneous stuff, and we're working this week on the Mind the Scrap Summer Challenge, and the requirements are 3 clusters, each of which must have at least 3 items. Your title needs to have title or subtitle somewhere obvious on your layout, needs to have a song title or lyrics. You need to use mixed media, paint, paste, or ink, and some punched or shapes or die cuts and stamps. So I have a strange group of things here. Let's see. I have a beautiful doily that is die cut. It's a die cut shape that was given to me by Gwen Towell. And I have some punches, some large punches that make these, and I need to pull them out. I haven't used them in forever. I have a, this was in the original kit. This is a frame set from the Let's Go collection by Simple Stories. And I'm going to actually set my photo kind of wonky on it and then embellish around it. I'm going to lay that. And this is a sheet of paper from Gwen. It's a Paige Evans pattern, and I'm going to use it this way and kind of add in all of these colors. This one sort of looks like that, so I figured it went, and this gray kind of goes with that grayish blue. I have some stamps that Gwen gave me that make like stitches, and since my title is going to be, the photo was taken when James and Barrett took me to brunch on the Sunday before I left, and we had kind of had a brunch, Sunday brunch tradition, which, because we're all poor now, we've suspended. But they took me to brunch to say goodbye since I was leaving on a jet plane. So that's kind of what my title's going to be, is Leavin on a jet plane, and I've put Leavin on here. I haven't selected the letters yet for on a jet plane, but I'm sure I have some in my kit. And if I don't have them in my kit, I do have them in this sticker book where I got Leavin from. But they're this color, which kind of doesn't go. I've picked these flower clusters. Let's see if that color is, well, it's similar enough to some of the leaves. And I'm just going to go with it. So I'll go ahead and do that now. That shouldn't take too long. I think the rest of it will go together quickly, but I need to get this. This is going to be what I'm going to call a title cluster down in this corner. That'll be, I'm going to put 2 clusters around the photos and then 1 down here with this title. So I kind of wanted to get this done. I'm also going to do some stamping and on here, and I wanted to do all that before I put the foam on it. And I'll do some there's one that has these swirly stitches, and I'm going to do those there and there because that kind of looks like a jet pathway, right? I don't, you know, I've ridden some jets that kind of felt like they were going along in that okay, and I'm going to put plain here because my flowers are going to go right there, I think. We'll see. That's why I wanted to do this first. I want to get all this done and get these decisions made. And I'll do some stitching. I'll do a short bit of stitching there, and I kind of needed to see that, see how things spaced out, and spaced out is probably a good term. This sticker book is from Simple Stories, Simple Vintage Lemon Twist, and there's nothing in it style-wise or color-wise that should go with anything I'm doing here. But especially when I do the Scrap Backwards and the Stash Dive Tuesday, I like to try to make things work that don't seem like they should. I like to try outrageous things. So I'm going to introduce that color kind of up in the other clusters here. Okay, these, I have wanted some stitching stamps and was actually looking to buy some. I have some that are kind of old. What is this? Okay, this is, they're all together. Is that right? Let me see how this, obviously I've never opened these or tried to use them before. They can be torn apart or cut apart, it looks like, but they're heck to get off the backing. So this is going to take a minute, I think. I keep thinking if I get a good hold on it, it'll, I went and even hunted down my long stamp block. I'm sorry that you're having to watch through this. You can kind of see how that's working or not. I hate to pull it like that because I feel like I'm stretching it, but with these kinds of, the images with the stitches on here, it probably would be okay. All right, so that's done. Let me put that aside, and I'm gonna cut the one stitch I want off of here. And I'll find a different way to store them on something that they don't stick to quite as well. And I'm just hoping now that it sticks that well to my stamp block. So, if not, we'll have wonky stitches, and that's going to be okay too. Okay, so there we are. Wonky stitches, and they're about as long as that piece of paper I got, which is cool. Let me kind of straighten them out so they're not that wonky. And I'm going to stamp these in black with my VersaFine ink, which is my go-to black stamping ink. And let me get stuff out of the way. And I'll just put that down right there. Ooh, perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, now I'm gonna turn my stamp block around that way and just ink up this part. And I'll do that. And it didn't go all the way, and then my flower will go over there. Okay, so yay, that worked. And I'm going to put this up here, and I will deal with all that later. In fact, what I may do is store them on this long block, because that's about the only thing I'm going to use that long block for. Okay, so now I think I'm ready. And this is from a 6x6 paper block that came in mine, the scrap kit. So it was part of the original Scrap Backwards kit. I'm going to do this right here. I haven't decided what 3 elements are going to be in my okay, I'm going to lay this down right there so that a lot of it is over. It's exactly the same color blue as this, which is just amazing. Okay, and then I want to do this maybe down a bit. I'm actually going to move this up. I want there to be more separation than that with the this lower cluster. Okay, and this needs some adhesive. This may not be strong enough to hold this down. Should I do it this way? I think I will. And I'm going to come down like that, make sure it's parallel. Okay, and then this is mounted on that. Do I want it wonky or straight? I'm going to go with straight. And you know what? This isn't. Speaking of straight, this is not straight. So let me get that there. Okay, and I'm going to put a cluster here so that it turned this, it's at a different angle than that, and that's not going to bother me a whole lot. So I'm going to try my brand new ink applicator. Ooh, look at that fine line. I did some research and found these. There's no lid that can get gunked up like this lid. Instead, it's sealed with the pen that keeps it clear. So, yay. And I just put the same ink in it, or same glue in it. Okay, there. And speaking of ink, I'm going to be doing a little bit of stenciling over here. And I'm going to try to stencil under or around the, let's see, these go someplace else. I've also reorganized my Scrap Backwards kit, and I think I'm going to like that. I'm going to use 2 Distress Oxides. I'll use Speckled Egg over when I do it on the dark blue. We'll see how that works. And I'll use Chipped Sapphire here. So I'm going to try to do some of these little plus signs. This is a Vicky Bouton stencil that I got in the Sweet Rush class. And I'm just going to kind of do that. And I'll do that also here. There we go. And it even showed there. I'm going to keep using the Chipped Sapphire even up here, I think. Okay, so there. That's done. And I'll leave that out because I may use it again on my next layout. Okay, put the stencil here and I will wash that. Okay, so I know that my clusters are going to be anchored by flowers, and because that's kind of how I roll. So I'm going to start with the flowers. I'm going to do this, and I'm sure Barrett won't mind that I kind of covered up his shirt. And I like this one. I was going to use this one here, but I think I'll use it up here. And use the smaller flower here so that you can see the stenciling. Don't want to do the stenciling and completely cover it up. So now one element that I'm going to use over here, because he's called B, or I use bees a lot for him, so I'm going to kind of do, I'm trying to figure out which way this bee is facing, what exactly it is. So I don't know that this is going to be, that I will consider it part of this cluster unless I build the cluster kind of out this way, which I may do. So I'll go here. I want the little tail to show. You know what? I'm going to not use that. I'm going to put the backing back on that. And I'm going to go with a bee flare. I will pull, I have some that are just black and white. And I'm gonna go with that. Maybe kind of right there. And I will let this down to the end of this roll, and I got another one in. I will have in each cluster a floral, ephemera, flare, and maybe one of these little, I'll bring some pink over here. I'll do that. And now I'll find a flare to go up here. And I'm going to go with a dotty one or a plaid. Let's go with a plaid and we'll do a dotty down here. And there's these flare have absolutely nothing to do with anything. And what I'm trying to do is take a fairly monochrome-ish background, and I introduced color with the frame, and I'm kind of trying to build on that. Okay, so what color do I want up there? Let's go with something totally unexpected like this green, which kind of brings in the green that I've used down here. And I could have done that in a flare too. Do I want the dotty one there? Yeah, because this is kind of looking monochrome to me. So I'm going to add the dots and then another color that's not in that, like maybe a yellow. There are some yellow dots here. I'm going to kind of go like that. And then let's go with this yellow, goldish yellow kind of color. And I'm going to put it right there. And then those clusters are kind of looking empty to me. So, you know, I'm going to go for some sequins because that's how I roll. Let's see. I want this back in the package, but I'll figure that out later. Okay, so what do we need? I do need some journaling on here. I've got my die cut, got my mixed media, song lyrics, I've got my 3 clusters. I just need to fill those out. So I have these sequins on my desk, and I'm going to go ahead, look how nice those little tiny dots of glue are. I'm going to add even more color over here. And I kind of, as far as the backwards part, I did, as I picked the papers, the paper, the frame, and the doily, and maybe even the flowers before I picked the photo. And I picked the photo from among some that were printed for me by Scrappy Adam when he sent my stuff. He included some photos that he had printed for me. And so that's a little group of sequins. And I'm going to go to this one. Now, I did not have to have the same elements. I do have 3 flare, 3 of these little brads, and then now 3 groupings of sequins, although I probably won't have as many as that in these other clusters. But I'll put some around. Okay. And I'm gonna, this sequin mix is one that I used for the, it's a mix of 3 sequin mixes, and I used it for the, my design team page for Spiegel Mom Scraps. And the reason it's still in the tray is because I can't put it away because it's 3 different mixes. They're the 2 that I used for the design team thing, and there's a few strawberry field ones, which I think this is from. So let me go here and here with sequins. And I'm going to put I shouldn't have put it over there until I was actually finished with it. So I'm going to take this teal one, and I don't know what color. Ooh, it kind of looks nice on the dark blue. Okay. And somehow I have this little oddball flower, so I'll put that in there. Okay, let's see what we have here. I will use one of my brand new white pens that I ordered. I was down to my last black pen that had any ink in it, and I had 2 white pens that kind of don't have much ink, so I placed an order for a set of black pens and a set of white. They're both Signo Uniball. The white pen has a much broader tip than the black pen. I have a needle tip on the black, which is my journaling preference. So I'm gonna use one of those. James and B took me for a farewell brunch at, what is the name of the brewing company? Anyway, I'll finish that when I remember the name. That's really terrible because I love that place. And it's in downtown Alpharetta, and that's a nice, hopefully I can get that where I think it's straight when I look at it. I don't have any pink down here. Do I need some pink somehow down here? Do I have anything pink that wants to be down there? I've got this little thing that says sugarcoat everything, and I don't know that that can fit, and it certainly doesn't go down here. I could kind of go, yeah, I will put it down here. There's a little bit of air in one of these. I filled 2 bottles up this morning. I bought 2, so I filled 2 in case I misplace one, which has happened often enough. I keep thinking, oh, Jekyll. I'm glad if I... Jekyll. Before I departed for Manchester. Never reached Manchester, at least not on a plane, but eventually got there. So this is done. I'm going to call it done. And what I did here after just this morning reorganizing everything in my kit, I just kind of pulled some things I liked before I had any idea what the page was going to be. And I had this photo that was already printed, and it's one I don't especially like. It's a photo I don't especially like of me, but I kind of like that they thought to take me there. Now, I think I've finally got it straight. Now my writing is crooked, but that's okay. It goes in the album, and it's a memory. So, thanks for watching. I'll see you next week. And I'm actually going to be using my Scrap Backwards kit every day this week. So I will be posting some things out there. And oh, by the way, I have not forgotten about the prizes. I have some things that I needed to take care of in the way of mailing stuff. And I have on my agenda is to close the album and from last month, which is, a little bit late doing that. I usually do it on the 6th, and drawing some names. And I believe I did not draw names and did not send prizes for the month before that. So I'm going to do that too. And I have all kinds of excuses, but Adam and I are going to be both be getting back more visibly active in the group because, and we have some ideas, some events planned. So stay tuned, and thanks for watching. Bye.